energy to each and every one of you guys. If this is your first time in my life, my name is Chief Apostle Samuel Jr. I am the apostle and pastor of Apostolic Faith of Jesus Christ Incorporated. My beliefs are deeply rooted in the ATRS, those are African traditional religions by which we harness, direct, and disperse energy, frequency, and vibration. To each and every one of you guys, first of all, salutation to my Madrina, to my Pergino, to my Oba, and to all of my brothers and sisters in the Ifa, Voodoo, Santeria, Kumi, Congo, Palo, my mystic and my Ajays. Also, those that are in the church that are practicing the ATRS, the black arts, and those that have left the church but got church influence. On this platform, we're here to teach knowledge, wisdom, understanding concerning energy, frequency, and vibration, the power. To all of my melanated people, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys for your continued support. I want to say also to each and every one of you guys that follow me. I have real time experiences. I've been doing magic ever since I was 3 to 4 years old, and I have been doing. I'm 52 years of age. I want to say to each and every one of you guys, it is important to adhere to somebody or one of the elders in these traditions that have been not only participating in the magic, but also have a success rate. What's up there, Miranda? My Aquarius from Aloha. And I'm just I did post some things on my website, and I know I'm coming in around people's work schedule, so I do understand. But you will watch this video after a while, and then it's a blessing. I want to say hello to my Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Aquarius, Cancer, Capricorn, Leo, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Libra, and Virgo. Hello to each and every one of you guys. What's up there, Monique 444? Cancer in the house. I call it crab cakes. One of the things I want to teach today, at the benefit of melanated people. Oh my Lord, 2:50 in the morning in the islands. Oh my goodness. So I want to say to each and every one of you guys that this is an opportunity for you to learn conjuring in real time. And so normally I get up really early, especially that I'm retired from UPS. And so I went outside before the sun came up, and I noticed and it caught my attention out of my peripheral, and I noticed there was a dead animal in my yard. And I did notice quite quickly that it was a rat. I want to talk about yard magic and why people need to understand the importance of protection. And a lot of people around me, they listen at me, they amen me, but they're not up on their spiritual hygienes inside their temple or outside their temple. And one of the things that I teach about cleanliness and the importance of it, it's a protection all in itself. Without you doing conjure, just keeping your environment clean, keeping yourself clean. And we all have challenges about bugs and roaches. We all have that. But the most part, keeping a clean environment, and it's a type of protection. But one of the things I want to discuss, not only the reason why most people in hoodoo and conjure, especially spiritual workers, and I will also encourage anybody that is going to be doing magic, especially at their living space. This is going to be something very, very important. And I know that Some of you watch other hoodooers and conjurers sweeping their porches and outside doing stuff, and you may ask, what's the point? What's the point? There's always somebody that's going to try you. I want you to understand that I am Chief Apostle Samuel Jr. I was born with the gifts I have. I had a plethora of spirits that came along with me in this life. And then when I got initiated and I got scratched, I received more spirits and more added to my army. That doesn't stop somebody from trying you. And the more desperate a person is trying to impede your success or happiness or your demise, the more desperate they're gonna get. And don't think your enemy don't know where you live. And to all of y'all live in a gated community, you can still be got. If that person is skilled, they don't need your code. They don't need to go through the guard gate. They don't need none of that. They need to just be in the vicinity. And if they skilled like me, they can do it anywhere on planet Earth. So let's get past the misnomers about conjure, and I'm gonna do a little teaching about I don't believe in this and all that. Everybody still throwing at me, but nobody knows that nobody is supposed to know the stuff I know. But somehow you finding ways to keep working or fighting against me. And that, what I saw in my yard was conjure. So I know I'm not the only one that's out here working with animals, working with herbs. And the first thing melanated people gonna cry is they in the church. Those are sometimes the most rudiest, conjuring, going to people, folks you ever seen in your life. Okay? I'm just straight up about mine. I'm just straightforward about mine. I'm just straight honest about my spirituality. So let me explain this. First of all, I was taught by my spiritual dad around 13 years of age. When you do conjure, you never leave residue. You never leave, and I'm gonna explain why. And he used to tell me that all the time. And we used to see people doing things, putting stuff out. One individual, one worker defecated or took a shit on his building, and that symbology, human feces, is to let your business waste away. People got all kind of reasons why they utilize different things. And I watched him, what he did to not only to remove that particular trick, because in hoodoo we call it a trick. So in conjure. So this particular, what's up, Mama Susan? What's up, Tree Rhonda? So he went about because something I can tell you and something I'm not going to tell you, because a lot of people fighting me watch my videos. So I got to leave missing pieces. You know what I'm saying? I can't help them try to defeat me. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving them enough universal knowledge. You know what I'm saying? But the tricks of my the trade, I keep them for self. Now, so he showed me what he was actually cleaning, and I was watching, as I was considerably young, and I've seen different things, and I want y'all to know, and even the person, because that's why I had to dream about you. Before you came and did that, I had to dream about you. So nobody can try to implement anything in your life without it coming through the astral plane. And you're going to see them or see the dream or see the spirit. I saw them in the spirit. So I got up that day and started doing things to reinforce my protection. And anytime, if you ever been to my house, not only is my yard protected, my house inside and out, but the stop sign you had to come through. This is why by the time you got what you got to my house, it was already weakened. See, when they say no weapon formed against you shall prosper, that means you as a grown man or a grown woman have already done things that put you in a position. Your conjure, your incense burns, your candles. Some of y'all be asking me to do stuff for y'all. You ain't got nothing on the altar. You think everything covers everything. And it's ignorant, number one. It's malpractice spiritually, number two. Because why would you think that working with Shango gonna protect this? Or why would you think working with Kobe Inde gonna fix everything? All spirits, no matter what the tradition is, they cover only a trajectory of your life. And if you're not doing things in other aspects, you can be got in the same things that you leave unattended. Or you put the least energy in. And always remember, energy follows path of least resistance. And don't tell me what somebody can get, because everybody got ancestors that gonna fight for them, whether they wrong or right. That's the misnomer that Christians have, that you got to be in the right. And what we call right, that's not true. You can be dead ass wrong, and your ancestors are gonna go to war for you. So let's get beyond that. That's why I'm the elder and the teacher, and I'm giving you an example in real time of what happened to me. So I've always learned from having to protect my house or my church or anything that I got spirits govern my website, anything that has to do with my prosperity, even down to me as a whole. I protect myself in all of my endeavors and undertaking. I'm going to say that again. I protect myself in all my endeavors and undertaking. So animals have been used in conjure to bring prosperity and success, and also harm and destruction. So one of the things I want to express in this tutelage about yard magic and ATRs, depending on your practice, you may utilize certain things, certain animals, because that is the go-to of a particular tradition or working. Or if they're going to somebody that practice palo, or going to somebody that practice, see, this is really more like conjure or ubia. This is style more like root work, because even in root work we still use animals. So I've seen this before. One time it was a baby possum placed in my sister's yard. I've seen rabbits. People use snakes. Every dead animal is not dead, y'all. I'm gonna say that again. I know that went over somebody here. Every dead animal is not dead. It's a living energy, and they have utilized that body of that animal to house the spirit. Okay? And you will learn some of this more in depth in my conjure class. And that's just learning the beginning. So one of the things you have to understand, your house, your yard represents certain things. The fact that they put it in my front yard, which means that they're trying to harm me in the sense of stopping, because all your prosperity work goes in your front yard. You know, whatever you doing. And I'm a type of person, I do different conjures different ways. So let me explain to you like this. When you have, if you have an apartment, I don't care. Normally they place it at your door. If you got a porch, they place it on your porch, because this is the area that your success, prosperity, anything good will come to your front door. It doesn't matter which direction your front door is. That a lot of your goodness and your spirits. If you're working with Ganesh, if you're working with Ligba, if you're working with Papa Ligba, this is why you see so many people in conjure put things behind their door to keep bad things out of their house, but also bringing good things into their house. And your door doesn't have to be open for the spirits to come in to your house to bring the success, the prosperity, all the good stuff. So when people place things in your yard, your front yard, it's with the understanding of blocking or stopping, because that depends on how strong your protection is versus how strong the attack is. This is why the cartoon Pokemon is so intriguing to people, even though they don't understand why they're paying attention. So, in the fact that this was in my front yard, so I'm gonna give you the definition or what a rat represents. Because in every tradition, and this is, let me say this is why it's important, because my uncle does my yard. I keep my yard manicured. This is why having a clean environment is to your benefit, and these are the natural things you can do to allow you to be alert if something is odd, if something's sent out. Now, the first thing about this particular animal, that animal is not native around here. There's a lot of animals out here, but that is not one. So this does not blend in with my environment. I'm gonna say it again. This does not blend in with my environment. Whether something is present for a positive reason or a negative reason, the process of elimination allows you, if you don't have gifts or they're not activated, the process of elimination, that process, mental process, helps you to eliminate what's right about this situation and what's wrong about this situation. Okay, so this rat and so it stood out a lot in my yard. It was because my uncle had already came here this week or this weekend and had recut my yard, and they always manicure it and what have you. And so it's and the guardsman come out, and I don't keep a bunch of junk in my yard. I don't keep a bunch of you know how some people have stuff in their yard or around their house. I don't have most of my yard is open. Okay, whatever you do, and I tell you how to decor your yard, but I'm saying that you don't want anything that keep you from obscure your vision. You know, my hedges, they're clean behind my hedges. My hedges is not on my house. My hedges are so many inches away from my house. So if anybody puts anything close to my house, I'm still gonna see it. So yard magic is understanding your perimeter. This is why math is still important in conjure. What's up, Demetrius? And so therefore, I have things around my house. Now, what I have done and what I always do, I have things planted up under the ground to cover my perimeter. So yard magic is about knowing what yardage you have when it comes to your living space, and so I have things planted under the ground that is there for my protection. But I also saturate with my yard with my elixir, my protection potions. So yard magic is not about anybody else but you. If you take care of your body and you take care of your yard, this is always going to put you in the best possible position if you are ever under attack. To think that nobody knows where you live is asinine. So the other thing that when you do in yard magic that people don't realize, and I'm gonna school anybody that decides to attack me, I'm gonna school you with this. You always leave an energy signature. When the ground that you were trying to saturate with the energy of that particular spirit, you have to understand that your energy is absorbed in the soil, because earth element is a receiving element. So there's no way I was not going to know. And if this was a random animal dying in my yard, it wasn't. it somebody get Tony Ray in your Mother Susan said something. She said, and your yard always kept so beautiful. Yeah. But it's good to have a beautiful yard, but you have to have a yard where you're going to recognize that something is off. So always remember, we leave energy signatures, whether we're doing good or whether we're doing bad. And I'm only using those concepts because most black melanated people come up in church and everything's about good and everything's about evil, which is absurd. Everything is about energy, frequency, and vibration. Everything. So when they came out there, they had to enter into my energetic domain. Now, what that does is not only my spirits were alarmed. This is why sometimes you get woken up out of your sleep when something has happened. I'm going to say that again. If you come out of your sleep for what you feel like for no reason, you just woke up, you were just up, your spirits are trying to get your attention. Now, the reason I came out was not the reason why I was led out. I'm going to say that again. The reason that I came out to the car was to get my capsules, my herbs. But they used that to get me outside. I'm going to say that again. Your ancestors may use something very mundane and natural to you. You think you could get up to use the bathroom. You think it's about you hungry, but they're trying to get your attention. So I was outside very early. So let me explain yard magic in that common sense. Normally, when a working is placed down for you, especially for a negative purpose, it is done before the sun comes up. So when the sun comes up, the sun starts to energize that work. But I caught that work before the sun came up. Yard magic is not just for prosperity, but it's also there for your protection. It allows you to energetically have buffers where people can't just hit you hard like that. You have stuff in the way, so when those spirits try to operate and function, that they are very limited. I'm gonna give you the understanding from a bio perspective. If I have to have a virus or a bacteria in my body, I am going to put things in my system to make it as uncomfortable. I'm not going to create an environment where those parasites or those viruses or those bacteria can grow and thrive. I'm going to create an environment in my system that is going to weaken them, because sometimes some things have to run their course. Everything you can't rebuke immediately, everything you can't banish immediately. Sometimes you have to let things run their course. But because I know you are present in my system, because I have a system of magic all around me, and now that I know you are present in my system, now the first thing I did was to seal the work. Am I going to tell you what I used? I didn't use the average thing that niggas use, bleach and ammonia. I got something far more sinister. Because what I will never do is hate on nobody from doing magic. Because you got to be true to the game. Some of y'all like praying on people, but you don't like people praying on you. Some of y'all like speaking a word on people and don't like people speaking a word on you. So you like to mess with other people's energy, but you don't like no matter what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I always come from that position. You don't get mad with nobody for throwing at you when you can throw at people. I don't care what your reasoning was. You still did it. And so therefore, the wisest thing to do is not to get in your emotion. So I sealed that work. Now, another thing I did, I call all my spirits. Because this body is only a house. A lot of you all miss doing your work worried about who it is. I want you to understand how less important it is about who it is than who has arrived at your door. You got to deal with that. So, and I don't do another thing that niggas do. I don't pour salt on work that's negative. I'm going to explain that because you're going to learn a lot of things in my conjure class. First of all, salt is a receptive energy, just like soil is. It's an earth element. So it is going to absorb. Why would you want to absorb negative energy or negative working or the energy of a negative spirit, a spirit that's sent to do negative work, a harmful work, I shouldn't say negative, harmful work against you, and allow that to be absorbed in your place of residence? You see the wisdom I have? I've been doing this a long time. There's other ways to deal with that energy without you absorbing it in your ground, in your earth, where you do conjure to bless your yard or your prosperity for you. So I don't do that. I don't do the bleach. I don't do the ammonia. Don't mean I don't use it, but not for stuff like that. And I don't do the salt because of those premises, those principles. Demetrius said it's just like when you're on the internet, you have an IP address. Oh, IP address behind. Yep. And this is important that everything is connected. So when you challenge certain people, understand. Because black people like to challenge people, do work against people, and then claim the victim. Okay? So that's why I didn't. But I sealed the work in. I had already doing this before the sun comes up. So what I did was I got some stuff. I don't use it. If I use something to remove a negative word, I don't put that back in my house. I'm gonna say that again. I don't. If I use something to clean up a working or a trick that been laid down, I don't bring that stuff back in my house. I utilize it and discard it. So, because I am a practicing crown santero priest of the Orishas, I gave that work, that animal, back to Iligba. See, when you challenging somebody, and I ain't telling you not to do it, I had way more talent and skill and resources now than I had when I was in my 20s. Because I dealt with a lot of that and successfully dealt with it in my 20s through Haitian voodoo. But I got way more than Haitian voodoo now. So I gave that working back because I want them to know, like, I'm handling that shit you brought me. That's why I'm the GOAT. And that's why I ain't even mad this morning, because what's good for the good for the camel. So I gave that back to Iligba. Now you got to go and figure out who Iligba is. And that I am truly initiated. Therefore, I have other spirits. Now, I also talked to Kobiende, my father in Palo, because I had to put my head on and everything. But I talked to him this morning about you and that. And he's a god of death. So the animals in that cauldron know to be on alert for me. All this is yard magic. Because what's inside your house need to defend what's on the outside of your house. Because the Bible says that the strong man got the first bind up. The strong man got to be bind. And before you can take over somebody's house, you have to restrict them. You must not allow them to function. This is why I said the tree, and I say to anybody, when you don't get up and do what you need to do, and you trying to live your life, how you gonna actually live your life when people working on you? And this is the dumbest shit I've seen black people do. Or I don't believe in that, or I did something. And they did something to counter that. When people want to see you down, it don't matter how long it takes. This been going on for years. And some of y'all really think that somebody that got something against you, that time changes their attitude, their motivation. It doesn't. And when you prospering, it make them work harder on you. The blessing of the Lord do it make it rich, but Negroes try to add sorrow. So now we understanding why your yard and what your yard represent. So whatever spirits that are in your house to protect your house, go out to defend your yard, because your yard is still an extension of who you are. Your house represents you in the spirit world. And then your yard represents your territory. You don't let nobody take over your house, and you don't let nobody take over your yard. Because you ain't going to enable me to maneuver It's a reason why certain things are done, people. And your stupidity, oh, I'm not into that stuff. It don't matter. You are more vulnerable. Just like everything trickles down. This is what I've been trying to tell people about a prosperity and success. You keep going from job to job, which puts you at the lowest of levels. The purpose of me staying with UPS is I wanted to climb the ranks. On my job, we have layoffs. And I knew it was my job as an individual person, as a Sagittarius, to get high enough where I couldn't be laid off. I knew that in the beginning. See, that's why you don't get a part of a system and not learn that system. And at that point, your job is to climb high enough on that mountain. Don't mean you can't be affected, but not as affected. Just like magic. The more you higher you go, the deeper you go, don't mean you ain't gonna be affected by energy, but you will be less affected than somebody else that does not have that. This is why I told you guys about your membership. Start utilizing your benefit. All I can do is, because I ain't gonna tell nobody what to do. I ain't gonna tell nobody what to do. I will give you knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and you as a grown man. There's no way I would not, especially where some of y'all are in life, that I would not have a candle burning, especially if I got a membership. And you know that candle ain't gonna burn forever. So that means you have to be consistent. So now that we understand what the yard means and why it's yard magic and why it's important and why to keep things clean, cleansing is not just a natural thing, but it's also a spiritual thing. See, and then I'm going to reinforce my house and my yard. I went out and did the elixir, the Haitian voodoo, because I want y'all to know I use all my products because they kick ass. So when I'm telling you about I bless this candle with the elixir, you need to understand what I'm really saying. So now that you understand why we use the front of the yard and the back of the yard, now the size of the yard, all of that is your representation. I don't care if you're renting. Where you live and you house your spirit is a reflection on you. That's why it ain't good to have anybody in your house, because their energy start messing with the energy of your environment. So now that we know this, now I want you to understand that a rat symbolizes. So we're going to do the process of elimination for those that are not tapped in to the psychic energy or a form of divination. So a rat represents intelligence, adaptability, even wealth, and new beginnings. So the negative aspect of what a rat represents is problem, unwanted changes, and negativity in one's life. So we're going to try to figure out what the intention was. I'm betting on the intention was not to bring me intelligence, adaptability, wealth, or new beginnings. They weren't trying to open my roads. So some of the things I did was I immediately went to Elikba to open my roads, and I went to Lucera Mundo to open my roads. Not that my roads were being blocked, well, they were being endeavored to be in my, but I contacted these spirits, and the reason I did that is because this is the area of my life that they rule over. I always go to the person in charge. I always go to the person in charge. When I go to a cemetery, I go to the people in charge. When I go to the river, I go to the people in charge. When I go to the ocean, I do not talk to the peons. I did not get this kind of rank to talk to peons. I don't want to talk to the teller. I want to talk to the manager. When my grandma came in there to get straightening, she was not talking to the teller. She never addressed that teller. When my grandma walked into Barnett Bank, where they were holding my mother, she did not talk to the teller. She didn't even talk to the people that were holding her. She wanted to talk to the bitch in charge. Because once I get you straight, you're going to make all your Indians do what I need. And she said, if you don't let her go, she won't work. She won't nurse no motherfucking more. That I can assure you. And I want every goddamn penny I got in this bank. I want it out of here. Now, I don't know who trained you, who taught you. But when you start trying to tamper with my prosperity and my success and my health, when you come for those things, whether you mean it to turn out the way it turned out or not, you guys, you must know when somebody is really trying to bring you down. Because there's a lot of different types of magic you can do to people and at people. And when somebody chooses certain paths or directions to do certain type of conjure, you do know that's a choice. I'm going to say that again. You do know that they had to make a choice to do that. Because they could have did any type of other working. But they chose that particular work. It is nothing called accident. It's called intentional. So based off the work, I know your intention. And this is what gets most black people when it comes to yard magic and conjure. You don't know how to respond to the intentions of others. This ain't something you ignore, because this is energy. And energy has to, in this case, got to be transmuted. You can't destroy energy. By you throwing that animal away does not stop the work. By you removing whatever was put in your yard or put in at your door, that don't remove the work. The energy is already, because whoever put that together already put energy in it. They were hoping that the sun came up on that thing, which would have strengthened the work. But they already gave their energy, Ache, to the work. And energy cannot be destroyed. It ain't just, it does not just go for you. It goes for everybody. I want y'all to have some wisdom when it comes down to yard magic. Because y'all claiming to be hoodooists and y'all in the church, y'all just don't. All you do is love Jesus. I promise you I ain't put that in my yard. Okay? So yard magic is understanding how all these things are associated with you as an individual. And this is the thing. When people attack you when you already not taking care of yourself. When people are attacking you while you economically not doing what you need to do. Same thing I would tell Demetrius, I'll tell anybody that is a worker. You don't wait till you are attacked to respond. You do all the conjure you can do that is rational to you based off where you at. Based on if you get attacked, you need time to respond. This is why I use the term buffer, because you can't just walk up in my house. A spirit can't just walk up into my church. Even if it's strong and even if it's powerful, there's a certain amount of energy that I have placed around there that allow me time to respond to the attack. You never underestimate nobody and nothing, because we all are energy, frequency, and vibration. And your alertness and your response, because some of y'all wait till you do conjure and now you got to go out and get some stuff. I done already put some shit down. I already got some stuff going. And I'm going to have some more. Now, I was supposed to be in Miami early this morning. Get some more products. Now, I can't leave until the sun is at noon. Because I got some other shit I'm going to do. So I'll be leaving after 12. You don't do what you want to do when it comes down to securing your yard, securing your house, securing your the place where you lay your head at. He said, I'll do. He said, wait a minute. It's just, wait a minute. He said, facts. That's why I had to stock up on instant. I know that's right. Let me tell you something. You never want to be caught with your pants down. That's my sister coined that term. She always thought, don't get caught with, baby. When you get caught with your pants down in your yard, that means you're exposed. It's only so much time where they inside your house. If they wreaking havoc on your territory and they wreaking havoc on inside your house, and they try to create as much trouble and problems for you. You're not a real spiritualist. You're not a real conjurer. You're really not being taught. And this is why you leave yourself open. You think it's about somebody getting money out of you. And you don't even have that kind of money to be even having them kind of ideas. But black people do. The people that need to conjure the most, Tree is a very responsible woman. She's not proactive. She lets stuff happen to her. I watched different ones. They were burning candles, Better Business candles. They were doing that. They were just climbing. They don't do that no more. And I use all these things not for them, but for you to teach you. This type of thinking, this type of behavior, you think you're saving money by not buying your tools. You think you're saving money for trying to stretch it out. That's why you can't use what the tools represent in a concentrated form, because they were designed concentrated. But you're going to dilute the energy, which in turn makes it less effective. How is that smart? How is that smart? When you need those energies to be at work in your behalf and in your favor. But I digress. So then I decided, I said, I posted it on my Facebook page. I posted it. I haven't done it on TikTok yet, but I will, because I like to use these moments as a teachable moment. Not only to show people that are learning from me that I know my shit and I know how to handle my own business. I've been doing this over 40 years. I don't sleep on nobody. I try to be ready for any and everything. And I'm going to explain that. When you ready, you ain't got to get ready. When I saw what I saw, I was able to respond. When I had the dream and the vision, I was able to respond. This is what I mean by having your tools, doing what you're supposed to do. Because the only purpose a person suffers behind you not having your tools is you. The only person suffers behind not getting up early in the morning is you. Nobody else is affected. If your prosperity means so much to you, then protect it. If your health means so much to you, then protect it. If your relationship means so much to you, then protect it. You can't convince me. And y'all don't understand something about a Sagittarius. You like it? Oh, I loves it. Y'all think I have this compassion that I most certainly don't have it. And then my destiny star is in Capricorn. So the older I get and closer I get to my destiny, the more Capricorn energy takes over. And Capricorn don't care. You reap what you sow. If you do what you're supposed to do, you get blessed. If you don't, you get the alternative. You're not learning this stuff for me. You're learning this stuff for you. You're gaining this knowledge for you. When you make the decisions to attack certain people, that's why in the scripture says, do you sit down, count on the cost, see whether you with 10,000 men can come against him that got 20,000 men. This is the reason why you hear me say, I'm stronger than I was. The amount of spirits that I had at my disposal when I was in my 20s and 30s and 40s, I have way more spirits now. And if you were not successful in defeating me before I had more troops, I'm more of a strategist, spiritual strategist now than I was then, and I was a damn good strategist. So when you trying to learn magic and knowing why you need your candles burning for you, or sir, ATRS are African traditional religions. So this is why it's important. When you got energy already ready to go, when your ancestors already ready to go, pumped to go, you're quite welcome. When you're dealing with energy of your yard, the energy of your house or your apartment, even if you got a little efficiency, even if you got any space where your energy is resting and your spirit leaves your body, you can be in a halfway house, you can be in a woman's rehabilitation center. It don't matter. All you got is a cot. You can be Jesus in the manger. Wherever your energy is resting, you can protect it. This is why you do conjure and you are proactive. Some of y'all want me to feel so bad for your situation, and I can't. I don't feel bad for your situation. You deserve the day you voted for. You deserve the day your decision made for you. You the one keep making these asinine, and you think, let me tell y'all something. I have people around me, they think I'm gonna fight hard for you because I got somebody to do. If you don't pay for the work, you're not getting the work. I ain't got nothing to give. If you don't invest in yourself, why would I have a problem with your outcome? You so used to trying to manipulate people to do stuff for you for free that you don't find yourself getting older and older. If I had your situation, I would keep a candle lit. At the very least, I would keep incense burns at the very least. You're not doing anything of a maximum level. You're doing the bread, the crumbs of conscience. You're traveling the path of the least cost. And you ain't even consistent in that. You don't get incense burns every day. And that ain't but $20. You don't get reading, consultation. You don't get none of that. Why do you think your life look like it does? You think I'm gonna go out here, work and sacrifice and spend the kind of money I spend and just hand you over victory? We got a whole lot of stupid ass people in this thing called life. You should not expect your tata, your mambo, your pastor, your boko, your Yanifa, your Yaya to do stuff that you ain't even willing to do for yourself. Why do you think people ought to go to work, take their money, and buy your country? You not their mama. You not their daddy. You don't have no wisdom. And you think that you can, and I know why you do it, because you think manipulation gets you what you want. But the truth of the matter, especially with a fire sign, it's going to get you the very opposite. You know how many complaints I hear, people texting me or trying to contact me through various social media. Want me to feel sorry. Baby, if you ain't going through that website and getting a consultation, if you ain't ordering a service that I got, that what you could have saved that. I done heard so many sob stories. I'm 52 years old. I'm a pastor since 2001. Don't you think even before I became a pastor, I was doing work for people? I'm giving you an example of why I have the right to teach conscience. I got a conscience class coming up for $175. You know how many people should get that class but ain't gonna get that class? But they still expecting me to do for them because I'm their pastor. Want me to give them knowledge that they should be investing in. I'm telling you about melanated people, and I'm telling you why I'm victorious and they not. Going to somebody's church don't make you spiritual. Going to somebody's elate don't make you spiritual. Going to somebody's covenant don't make you spiritual. And when you're trying to do against everything that the universe or spirit or ancestors are wanting you to learn, then that's why you where you at. Nothing is going to work for you until you do right by your ancestors. I don't care if it's Ifa, Hoodoo, Voodoo, Christianity. It doesn't matter what vehicle you use. Your ancestors have to be taken care of. You still have to follow their advice. You still not doing it. You trying to be there for everybody that ain't gonna be there for you. And from my perspective, that's a fool. Once again, I'm a Sag, Moon and Aries, rising sign Pisces. If I don't know my shit, then you don't know your shit. And I know my shit. And I'm gonna get up with my Aries moon and do what I'm supposed to do every single day. That's why I'm not going out of town until after 12. Because of the instructions that I received. How you gonna change the outcome of what somebody is working against you when you ain't even meet their energy with the same energy or greater? And since I'm a Sagittarius, you know I'm going for greater. I don't only want to survive the weapon. I want to defeat the weapon. I want to transmute the weapon. I want to slam it in their throat and bring it all the way down out their ass. And when I say don't fuck with me, this is what I mean. Because sometimes you say don't play with me or don't fuck with me, and people get their own interpretation. So I like to demonstrate. When I say I ain't to be one to be fucked with, then let me give you a little demonstration of what I mean. Because apparently you have a different interpretation, or you want to try that shit. You don't tell nobody else not to try you. You have to show them not to try you. And you have to make them an example. Because you can't beat your enemies. That's why you get mad. That's why you run to the victims. Because if you were in a place to defend yourself and you were doing what you needed to do to defend yourself, you can be confident just like a posse. And I want to say to the men, share this. Do not. I'm telling that. I would advise you as a man, if you're going to be in contract, to make sure that your confidence matches your economics. That your confidence matches your intelligence. That your confidence matches your resume. As a man, you're going to be challenged regardless. But it will put you in the best position if you have more than one thing that you're confident in. Because chaos energy, or that thing called a woman, is going to challenge you in every aspect of your life. And the more things that you are confident, which means that you have mastered certain things, this is why it takes most men to the age of 45 to mature. This time, before then, you should be taking that to put yourself in a better position. I don't care if you gay, straight, or bi. I'm going to say it again. I don't care if you gay, straight, or bi. Your confidence, not your arrogance, needs to be able to complement whatever area that you are screaming. Because when it don't match, you suffer loss. When it don't match, you suffer loss. And now you're in your feelings because you cannot meet the opportunity. You can display just like I displayed. You don't have to be a chief. You don't have to be a apostle. You don't have to be a top. You just need to be grounded in your energy, and you master your own talent, your own skill, and take out and allow the time and the season to work for you. And you, sir, will be the nigga that women want to fuck, and men will want to be like. But if you don't put that work in, some people gonna like you, some people ain't. Even some people that dislike my personality still like other aspects of who I am. You got to give people multiple choice, because they ain't gonna like what you like about you. But there's other things they do like about you. They don't like you, but they like things about you. And that's all beneficial to you as a man. So you could take this counsel if you so choose, sir. And you don't have to be a practitioner of magic. That's what's being a man. And knowing when you develop and when you're not. And when you get an opportunity to be around people that are proficient in their shit, people that like my spiritual dad, they ain't like the way he talked, but he knew his shit. See, that's the people I learned of. I don't know who you learn, but it's important to me to know my shit. When my Padrino said, Godson, that's gorgeous. Godson, you just doing this. That's why I don't care what nobody else say. Cause I know my Godfather does good work. And when he give me certain accolades, you always want the accolades from your peers. See, when Aretha Franklin says Whitney can sing, when Patti LaBelle say Whitney, when Patti LaBelle say Whitney can sing, when Natalie Cole, when you got your giants around you, affirming Salmon, people ain't even singing, or they in entertainment. Salmon Davis Jr. telling Whitney she great. You taking the confidence of somebody that's poor, haven't reached their potential, ain't trying to reach their potential, and you gonna let them tell you got it going on? You can't tell her stomach from her ass because it looks like the same thing. You can't tell the difference between her mouth or her pussy or her ass because it all smell the same. And that's the person encouraging you and telling you got it going on. No wonder you can't strive for perfection. And that's the melanated people. If you want to be on board, go to my website. If you want to change your life, go to my website. If you want yokes destroyed, your house cleansed, your business cleansed, go to my website. Don't contact me. Do not try. If I don't see it on a Zelle, if I don't see it on a PayPal, you're absolutely, sir, ma'am, wasting your time. Love y'all. I gotta go get me a acai, and I got some work to do around here because apparently somebody wants my attention, and I'm damn sure gonna give it to them. All right, God bless.